Let's go. 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 Let's go.
You know the frequency, yeah. You know the frequency. Come on. You know the frequency, yeah. You know the frequency.
I've been upgrading my frequency. I've been protecting my energy. I've been upgrading my frequency. No matter what, I protect my energy.
We off the grid.
Yes. We are back. We are here for another episode of the Frequency Live on WMB1 Radio. We are here on Facebook Live. I'm your host, B. Carter. Double D, Derek Demaris. We got our program director in the background, Edmund Ray. We are the Frequency Live on WMB1 Radio. Yo, what's going on, G?
How you doing?
2 weeks.
What's up?
2 weeks.
What's in 2 weeks?
We haven't been here in 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks, yeah. And Jasmine, we missed Jasmine tonight.
Yeah, shout out to Jasmine. She got parenting duties, so we don't come in between them.
Yeah, how was your weekend?
It was a great weekend. Had like a family gathering. A lot of family from out of state came in.
Awesome.
Reminisce. You have like reminiscing about your family. It's just you just realize how much of a good time you had when you was a child, and how things has changed over the years, especially in society itself. We always talk about on this show.
And everyone's so busy too. I feel like when you kind of get together, it's a good time to reconnect and reminisce a little bit.
Yeah, like I enjoy spending time with my family. So shout out to the Carter family. We had a great time. What about you? What you do this weekend and these? You got a birthday coming up.
Yes. So I gotta reel it back in after this.
Oh, you was partying the last few days.
I've been having a good time, but I'm actually gonna meet my daughter after.
Oh yeah.
For a couple of drinks, but I gotta reel it back in. I had a good weekend.
You gotta celebrate.
Yeah.
You want to say your age or no?
I don't know. I feel young. That's what it is.
That's what it is. It's all about what you feel like.
That's right.
His age is just a number.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until you go with a younger girl, you want to. I'm joking. But a lot has happened the last 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. So we have a lot to cover after an awesome guest interview.
Yes.
We can go back and forth with a few different topics for sure.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk after we have a great guest, a candidate for 10th district, Bristol District State Representative Joe Pyers, and also we're gonna we'll talk about what everyone's talking about is the assassination attempt with Trump, the RNC convention, and breaking news: Biden has stepped down
as vice presidential pick.
A presidential pick.
Yep.
So there's a lot to talk about, and it's going to be politics heavy, and we're going to have these uncomfortable conversations or comfortable conversations. I like to call it here on the Frequency Live.
Okay.
So without further ado, we're going to go right into it. I would like to introduce you to a person who is taking on some responsibilities that a lot of people may not even want to take on.
I think people probably shy away from stuff like this nowadays. But.
Yeah. So I know, and I just spoke to him that I want to gear towards, the whole process of campaigning for this and getting into this political realm that can be very difficult to please everybody, knowing that you can't please everybody. Yeah. And it's a big responsibility because you got to take some accountability of decisions you make.
Yep.
And this is just one branch of government that we as a society needs to learn about. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you, candidate of the 10th Bristol District, Joe Pyers.
Come on, Joe. Welcome. Glad you're here.
I appreciate the invite and honored to be here.
Yeah.
This is very professional, and I feel honored to be in your presence and conduct this interview.
All right, thank you for showing up. We appreciate you for coming. I start my interview with a fun question. I warned you before the show, but I like to have fun. But it's simple. If you had an opportunity to have a dinner with someone, dead or alive, who would that person be?
Wow, great question. So I'm 53 years old. The people growing up I would probably, it would be a split between, I consider them icons. It would either be Michael Jackson
Mm.
or Prince.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and I feel as though they're so intriguing. They're still at the top of their game. They left a
Mhm.
legacy, and it would be great just to have a conversation such as we are now,
Mm.
and ask questions. And I think I would walk away with tremendous amount of knowledge, learning
Mm.
from that experience. Yeah, off the top of my head, I'm sure if I thought longer, I could
Yeah.
probably come up with.
What do
more
you think
names.
you would learn from them? Because that is a great answer, to be honest with you, especially
Um,
those two individuals.
So I have many mentors in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and when I look at a mentor, or when I follow someone, it's usually people that inspire me,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at how they lived their lives. What was driving them?
Mm.
What caused them to be who they are?
Mm.
What were their daily habits? I mean, all of those things I would be looking to see. Okay, not to say that I want to be a
Yeah.
singer,
Yeah.
but I would take some of those some of those items that they really use to develop, and I would use it in my own life.
Mm. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, because they're very motivated individuals, hardworking individuals. Yes, they have a talent, but to have a talent and waste it without having dedication and hard work and motivation and sacrifice,
Absolutely.
discipline.
Yes.
Um, y- Sometimes you just, even if you're not having a dinner, you just want to be the fly in the room.
Yeah. As you were talking, it made me, you hit it right on the nose.
Mhm.
Most people, when they see someone who has fortune or fame, or is successful,
Mhm.
we tend to forget the hard work
Mhm.
behind, how they got there. And I saw a documentary, I believe it was on Michael Jackson and his crew, his whole team. It was grueling preparing for a show or a concert. It was grueling, and he was the first one there and the last one out. And
Mhm.
I mean, this is what he was about.
Yeah.
And that's clear, and inspiration for me.
Mhm. Yeah, it's just when people are successful, you want to get the information. Not necessarily like a lot of people just want maybe a handout or whatever, but like, information is probably the most valuable thing. And if someone's successful, how did you do it?
Right.
Like, what was your
Yeah.
mindset? So yeah, it was a great
Yeah.
answer.
Oh,
Great
thank you.
answer.
Thank you. Great.
Yeah.
Great question. You had me a little off.
That was the point. That was the point. It's a fun question
Yeah.
to ask,
Yeah.
but it gets to, like, and I like our guests to explain the answer. So where is the motivation from the answer?
Right.
So that's a good way to start to get to know
Yeah.
who you are.
Thank you.
So tell the people out there, like, who is Joe Pyers?
Oh, I'm Joe Pyers. I was born here in New Bedford. My mom Eunice Camillo, my dad Joe Pyers, came from the old country, Brava, and
Oh, my friends were Brad. We might be cousins.
so I am Cape Verdean. Both my parents born there, and back then, and still now, this country, this is the land of opportunity.
Mhm.
And family of five on my mother's side, they saw that they had to get here, and one by one, they made it here. And I'm fortunate to say that I'm proud that my mom and my dad made the sacrifice. And back then, it was a sacrifice to
Yes.
come over here. So I was born here. Went to St. John School, Catholic school.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah,
too.
I was there for several years, and my mom ended up getting a divorce. Everyone has their decisions in life for a lot of reasons, and it was probably a really good decision because my mom, I felt, raised me the best that she could, and I wouldn't change a thing. And there was a struggle. My mom working three jobs, some of the factories that are around here, and she became a nurse's aide. And back in the 70s, she was able to save enough money to put a down payment on a house. And then we moved to Dartmouth and went to middle school, a portion of Dartmouth High, and then I met my girlfriend and now wife. And when you're young, it's my mom gave me a choice. It's either her or me. And,
Yeah.
so I moved out, and so I moved out, and at 18 years old, I was living here on a third floor apartment, and again working two jobs myself. putting myself through school. Ended up starting a job at Polaroid Corporation, and I was very fortunate because they paid for my entire schooling. I worked as a co-op, and and again, and I say fortunate, timing's everything, but you work hard to be the best version of yourself. You're polite, you're respectful. You try to learn everything you can. It's tough. You have to fight to get to where you want to be. When I say fight, the same thing we talked about at the start of the show. What's going to motivate you? How are you going to get ahead? And I mean, I remember working nights at Polaroid, coming home, sleeping 3 hours, getting up, going to Providence, going to class, then coming home and sleeping a little bit more, and then going back to work, doing my homework in between lunch and breaks. And that was my life throughout my 20s. And I wouldn't change a thing. And so got married, purchased a home in Rochester, Mass. Have 3 beautiful children. My son is 23. My youngest daughter is 20. My oldest daughter is 20. My youngest daughter is 17. And I've lived a good life. My kids are great. My wife's great. Don't get me wrong. We all have our challenges. We all have to work through it. And that's part of life. So I coached baseball, and I worked for Polaroid for 20 years. As you know, Polaroid. They became somewhat extinct with digital coming in. And it was a sad day, but I had a small marketing firm here in New Bedford, right off of Water Street, and I started doing websites, training videos, photography, anything marketing. And I met my partner, who I'm still working with now. We own a company called Pioneer Basement, and we waterproof basements. We encapsulate crawl spaces. We really make homes healthy. And he invented a series of products. I helped him market it. We've gone national with our products. We sell throughout the country, and we service all of Massachusetts, all of Rhode Island. And I've been with Pioneer now as an owner and president for almost 18 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm old.
Wow. I'm saying wow with the story. Do think that a story with me come from, and I'm not. I sometimes on this show I bash this generation, where you said that you made the sacrifices in your 20s. Like you say your mother was saying, "It's me or her." Well, I'm gonna take responsibility as a man and take care of me at a 18 age. No, it's not. Nothing was given to you. You had to work multiple jobs, and your life was to provide for you and yours. And that's why I'm saying wow, because I'm sure through those struggles, it built the character. It built some type of discipline and lesson of commitment to get to where you are. Where now you have your own company and you're running for state rep. Like that was probably started. That journey started when you made that choice.
Yeah. And as you're talking, I can't help not think of the failures along the way.
Oh yeah.
And you have those successes. You want to rejoice. You want to celebrate. But I remember distinctly after leaving home, before I worked at Polaroid, I worked for a company called Isotronics. And sometimes you think, okay, this is the future. I'll be in this company for 5 years. And then the company had some upsets. And I remember getting laid off right out of high school.
Wow.
And I remember I went back home to my mother. And I remember sitting there at the kitchen table. And I was so emotional because that was the first time that I really felt like
you failed.
And I didn't have a backup plan. And she gave me those words of wisdom. She said, don't look at this as a failure. Look at this as a learning. And she basically had me strap my boots on, and I went knocking on doors, and I went applying, and I was persistent. And just never give up. Never give up. Don't let no stop you. No is just a right turn, left turn, and get to where you want to be. So I'll never forget that day. And not only the fact that I felt like I failed, but it's your parents. You feel like you let someone else down as well. So that's
my next question was, where do you get that termination? Where do you get that motivation to say, all right, I need to go out there and I need to knock on some doors and not humiliate yourself, or go with some humility to get where I want to go? Where did that come from?
Yeah, just you started the interview perfectly, because when you see people around you and how they live their lives, I know I can probably count on 3 people who have demonstrated and in essence have taught me, to how to achieve and not to give up. The first one was my mom. Looking at her, not giving up, working 3 jobs at times, sometimes not seeing her for 2 or 3 days as a youngster. My grandmother lived with us as well, so I was able, somebody was able to watch me. But as I got into my teens and slowly into my adulthood, there were people in the companies that I worked for. I looked at where they were at in their life, and they were a little older than I was, and they were setting goals for me just by living by example.
By example, yes.
Yeah, so that's where everything can be attainable, and then you work backwards. Okay, I have a 5-year goal, a 10-year goal, whether it's you want to own a house, or you want your own business, or you want to make X amount of dollars. I had children later in life because I wanted to be certain that I could provide them with a certain quality of life. Whether it's a house, or whether it's being able to send them to school, or whether it's just being able to put clothes and food on the table. So we sacrificed, and we said, let's get school out of the way. Let's get this out of the way. So we had benchmarks, and did we achieve every goal? No. But when you have those goals ahead of you, it just drives you, and you have to keep checking in every day. I remember putting yellow stickies in paper where I brushed my teeth to say, okay, that was a picture of a vacation that I wanted to go on. And I saw that every single day.
Yeah.
And that puts you in the right mindset.
Yeah.
So when you get up and out of bed and you're going to work, you already have an attitude that you're going to achieve something, to take the next step towards that actual.
So every day is a step.
Every day is a step. That's a great point as well. Sometimes a goal, it gets overwhelming. If you can break it down into steps, it just makes it easier.
Attainable.
Yeah.
So you've never held office before?
Oh, I am. I'm on the school board. I'm on the school board for the Tri-Town, the regional side.
Marion, Rochester, Mattapoisett. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
So what made you take the leap to run for 10th Bristol?
Well, that's a big question. I've been on the school board for almost 9 years. If you know or look me up, I'm looked at as someone who's honest, someone who'll fight for you, someone who'll represent you. And it's very difficult for me to just give up, and I'll continue to be that voice. And I've done that on the school board as much as I possibly can. There's a lot of issues that I feel that are still happening that we need to overcome in the school. And the word compromise keeps coming up, and it's coming up as a state official as well. We need to come together, and I think the word care, we need to care about each other. We have differences. Everyone has differences, but we need to realize that we all live in this community. We have to live together, and we have to work together. We've been divided, separated for all different reasons for the last few years, maybe even more than that. So the school board was an opportunity for me to give back to my community. I believe our school system has done an incredible job on our students, my children. I went to New Bedford High. I thought New Bedford High was a great high school. And the same thing happens with the Tri-Town. So as we step forward, I have a good friend of mine, Rick Trapello. I've known him for years. And about 4 or 5 months ago, he approached me, and we've talked. We've talked about life issues that are going on in our communities. The national, I always like to focus on things that we have control over. What's going on at a national level, although I'm very interested, I listen to it every single day, but I try to put my energy on where we have control and we can make an impact. He said, Joe, you would be the right person for this. And I looked at him and I pretty much said, are you crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, everything I have going on. And he goes, do me a favor. Don't answer me right now. I want you to think about it. He gave me a week. And then I started doing my research, because like you had asked prior to getting on the show, what are the responsibilities? What does a state rep do? And I had to find out for myself. And it's still, I'm fresh. So I wish I could give you a lot of information. I'm not in that role yet, but I do know that he considered myself, and I also consider myself, as someone who would bring common sense, but more importantly, would bring the voice of who you're representing.
Mm.
I would really be focused on the 10th Bristol and the surrounding communities, the South Coast. And he advocated for me. And a week later, I spoke to my partner and I said, this is what I want to do. And he says, I'll support you in anything you do, Joe. And I came in and I turned in my papers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to get 150 signatures. I ended up getting 350. But
Wow.
the area that we cover, it's kind of sparse around New Bedford in Acushnet.
Mhm.
So the 350, I think I ended up getting like 250 to qualify. So I was still ahead.
Mhm.
Getting signatures was probably one of the best experiences that I had,
Why so?
because every time I asked someone for a signature, they wanted to interview me. Why do you want to run? Who are you? What do you stand for?
Mm.
So a signature cost me about maybe a good 10 or 15 minutes in conversation, but that was the beginning of learning a lot of what our community needs.
Well, yeah.
And most people want change.
Mm.
They want their government officials to really have their back,
Mm.
to really stand up for them. And it's a struggle. Even on the school board, people want school boards or elected officials to basically represent them. That's
Mhm.
why we're voting.
Mhm.
And some elected officials lose sight of that, and for whatever reason. So to answer your question, enough is enough.
Mm.
And I said, I'm going to throw my hat in, and I'm going to be the person that I have been, someone who stands up for people. And so that's why. And there's so many issues that I hope to help correct or bring more of that to the table and start having some healthy conversations of how we can try to come together on this and come up with solutions.
Mhm.
I just gave you a whole kind of snapshot of my life.
Yeah.
But how I grew up is how young youth are not growing up.
Exactly.
The American dream, I hate to say it, but it's gone away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that really, I mean, that really bothers me.
Mhm.
And I look at my own children, and I'm not being selfish, because your children,
Mhm.
we're all in the same boat, so to speak. We have young, smart, young adults who have gone to school or did very good in high school. I mean, would be great employees or great business owners. And the financial state that we're in right now is keeping our youth from becoming independent,
Mhm.
from becoming self-reliant.
Mm.
They are being held back. I talk to more parents right now that say, my 25, my 30-year-old is unable to buy a home, or if they're renting, they're unable to save for a home. And we're caught in a catch-22. And some of these young adults are coming out with college loans. I think there are people paying college loans in their 40s. This is something that it's a problem that needs to be addressed. I mean, we only have so much time on this planet.
Mhm.
And we talked about me being 18 and moving forward. My son is 23 and he's working 2 jobs,
Mhm.
and he's got a considerable savings, and it's still not enough. You know what he told me the other day? He said, Dad, if I would have purchased a home for $250,000 in 2020, my mortgage would have been $1,500. I could have probably made $70,000 to $80,000, and I would have lived a comfortable life.
Yes.
That same $250,000 house is $600,000. My mortgage would be $3,600, and I would have to make almost $180,000. That's impossible
Yeah,
for a
it's-
23 or 25-year-old to even think. I mean, your average person. And now, you know what I'm hearing? I'm hearing parents, grandparents are taking out of their retirement, and they're trying to help their kids get over that first speed bump. This is it's a vicious cycle,
Mhm.
because now you have grandparents, you have adults who have worked and prepared, did their 401k, did everything right, and they're pulling from their quality of life to try to help
Of them.
and bring their kids up.
Yeah.
So that's I've given you a lot, but
No.
that's the driving force to say, wait a minute, we need to come in there with common sense, with a representation
Mhm.
of what's going on. And when we're voting on legislation, or when we're voting on, we need to bring this to the table. And I'll speak exactly the way I'm speaking now. And at the end of the day, I hope that I can influence other state reps because it's not, the problem is not just here in New Bedford.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's throughout Massachusetts.
I want to like you're thinking, and we have these discussions all the time, and I like to know your opinion because how you're speaking. I really feel like what's killing these opportunities, killing the American dream, is human greed. I think money in itself is the root of all evil because as rent goes up, inflation goes up, interest rates goes up. Somebody's benefit from this,
Yeah.
and the way our capitalist system supposed to work, it's supposed to circulate. And I feel like now people are making money and it's stopping.
Right. Right.
And they're because of their human greed is not allowing it to circulate so it could come back up. So I'm not an economic. I'm not deep. I'm just knowing what I see, and how like and I feel like even when it comes to a position like yours or any political position, um, it can also be influenced by money, and that's where I feel like the right person in the job gotta be go into a moral base. So it's more or less like how I vote. I look at the person's morals. And that like that because if you take money out of the equation, all you have is your morals. And if there was no money in the equation, then we really know who's the right candidate. So how you're talking, I'm very impressed by how you're talking, how you grew up and you want to implement, those traits and give people a shot. Just like you had a shot at 18, 20, 22 years old.
Right.
These children don't have a shot, and because money's stopping at the top of the hill. I don't know. Am I wrong saying that? Is it something that you thought about?
No, you're right. And I don't, I'm not too sure about the greed aspect, but you're right though. There's money that's being spent elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's money that's not coming back into our community.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be really careful.
Yeah.
I'm part owner of a company.
Mm-hmm.
Our company does well as a company, but we have 62 employees.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel as though sometimes an owner, a partner, sometimes people use the 1% or the 2%. And I'm a medium-sized small business.
Yeah.
I feel the pressure and the weight of making sure that my team members, our employees, have income to support their family.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? We need work. We need jobs. We need to take care of our customers. We need to have a great reputation to keep that flywheel always going. And sometimes when we have that slow period, we take the hit. I would rather say, hey, we're going to take the hit because I need to keep our families employed so that they can put food on the table, they can live their life. And I'm going to get to your question because I think it's really important when you say special interest but lately, we have employees that have worked for our company for 15 years, 20 years. Lately, the feedback that I'm getting, they're saying, Joe, it's never been like this before. When I go to the grocery store, I'm spending nearly, 100% more or double, whatever. When my heating bill, my rent or my mortgage, my taxes, everything has gone up. And unfortunately, we need to say, we need to pay accordingly, but there's only so much that you can pay and try to keep up with inflation because we have to run the business. The company has to get paid in order to have all of the services and everything else that goes on. Most people don't see workman's comp. They don't see a lot of the red tape that we have to go through from a business to stay in business. And if you're starting a business today, it's so much harder than it ever has been. Why? Why can't we set things up to allow younger people to come in and start their business and get that process rolling? Usually the start is the stop, because when you look at all of your LLC, your licenses, your insurance, I mean, it just goes on and on. You have to have a good amount of capital already ready to go to what? To the state. So full circle, where is the money going? We're paying an exuberant amount of taxes. It's going into the state. Scott Lang said something very powerful at a budgetary meeting. He says, it's our money. We need to figure out how to get it back here in grants and various programs. But when it comes to spending, where are we spending the money? And the special interest, I'll tell you right now, we're spending billions of dollars on what they call renewable energy. It's right here offshore. I'm sure you saw the article with that windmill with the blade. That's just the tip of the iceberg. But when we're spending billions of dollars on trying to protect the environment, and I'm not an anti-environment. I'm for the environment, but I want to say we need to care about environment, but we can't care about it at the cost of having a quality of living and a standard of living. So when I look at who's getting paid, you're getting these major corporations, these major, renewable energy type companies. That money is coming out, and they're getting tax credits. They're getting guaranteed loans. I mean, I think it was $9 billion, recently. And we're saying to ourselves, okay, wait a minute, that's our money. That's our tax dollars. That's our, what we're generating here and we're paying out to the state. Instead of spending all that money on renewable energy that has proven now to not have a return on investment, why can't we give back to the taxpayers, lower their cost of living so that people can survive?
Yeah.
So is there greed? I would say greed, but more on mismanagement or
That's probably a better word.
Yeah, or misdirecting where this money should be going. So that's there's a lot more in the environmental I can talk about, things that I've learned. Environmental was never on my radar, but now it is.
Because the money that is cost for it to function.
Exactly. So to your point, let's just say, look, Nantucket Sound. Right now, there's probably 62 windmills in 16 miles out. 62 windmills. No one's talking about this. Each windmill has a shelf life of 5 years.
That's it.
That's it. And it has to be after 5 years. And by the way, during that 5-year period, it has to be highly maintained and serviced. And I'm not taking away from the hardworking people who are going out there and working on these windmills, but look at it as a business. I'm investing all of this money. We're putting up these structures. We're driving piles into the ocean floor. We're causing an exuberant amount of noise that disrupts the sonar that these mammals use to communicate and travel. So now you're seeing dolphins and whales beaching. But now we're saying to ourselves, okay, after 5 years, we have to replace it. But during that 5 years, we have to, maintain those turbines. There's a cost factor there. So when we look at the big picture, what's the return on investment? And we just can't say, in the spirit of climate change, we have to just keep spending money. There's no real way to measure or prove that we're saving the planet or we're saving the environment. Instead, what's really happening is that our wholesale price on a kilowatt hour of energy, conventional, using natural gas, fossil fuels, is about $39 to $50 a kilowatt hour. New Jersey and New York just declared the standard. Offshore wind is now costing the ratepayer $150 a kilowatt hour.
Wow.
Who's the ratepayer? You, myself, you. That's our electric bill. So
it's going up.
It's going to go up. It's going to go up 2 or 3 times
because the cost of maintenance and it costs the maintenance, and then you got to rebuild it every 5 years.
It's a constant. I mean, excuse my French, a money pit. We're going to keep putting money in there, and it's coming out of your pocket, my pocket, in the means of cost of living. Why not? Again, going back to that greed. And the greed is where you're right. You're right. Where's that money going? How is that money being funneled? Whose pocket is it going into? That's where we should be looking at, because that money should be coming back in less taxes for us, less cost of living in terms of insurance, our food prices, if we can manage that. I know, they're saying inflation is 9%. I believe it's 20%. I shop a lot for office. We buy lunch. We buy certain things to kind of offset their overall expense while they're working. I went to Market Basket, and Market Basket is great, by the way.
It's the cheapest. All the time. It's the cheapest.
Quality of food is great. I'm not knocking Market Basket, because some of these retail stores, some of these businesses can't keep the prices low because their product and their raw materials are going up. So
Yeah.
they have to bring some of those costs over
Costs.
to the customer.
Mhm.
But I had a carriage that was it was like not even full, and it was $125, and I was in shock. And I thought, okay, I said, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I think you might have miscounted. And I was honest as can be. She looked at me, and she looked at me with those, like, she glared at me like, okay, you're telling me that I made a mistake. And I said, I'm just sorry, but I just think it's a little low. And she went one by one. And how embarrassing was it? And it matched right to the receipt. I looked at her and she goes, and she said, that's where we are right now. Everything's expensive. And she agreed with me. And I didn't put anything back. I just left. And that was a clear indication of what every family right here in Massachusetts, specifically in the South Coast, is dealing with. There are families right now that are not buying something, whether it's a Coke or whether it's their favorite cereal, or they're cutting back. And that's not how it should be.
No.
I mean, this is basic stuff. People need to eat.
Mhm.
I get it. Maybe cut back going out to dinner or doing some of the luxury things, but basic heating your home, keeping power on, keeping the lights on, and buying food for your family. And you are working 40 hours a week. Your husband's working 40 hours a week. You're working overtime, and people are still having a hard time.
They got to
making it.
choose. They got to pick and choose. What are they going to,
Absolutely. And it's affecting the quality of life. And, I look at all aspects. Can I make a difference? Honestly, I don't know, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try. And my track record is don't give up, keep fighting, and be persistent. And I feel as though we're at the right time in our country. Sometimes I say I'm fortunate to be alive to witness what's going on in the presidential. This is unprecedented. I mean, I'm off topic now,
No.
but I told my kids, I says, I want to tell you how sorry I feel for you. And my daughter, why? I says, because I never thought you would have to live through an attempted assassination of our president. And I know how children must feel right now, going to bed, feeling that there's a little bit more of a sense of fear. If the president or past president of the United States can't be protected, and this could happen, that means it can happen to any one of us. And it's nothing to do with Trump. It could be any president.
No, it could.
The fact that it happened, I think, if I could say, if there's one positive that came out of that, and respectively, I think it's bringing us together as a nation, not on politics, on unity. We're uniting on patriotism, being an American. And if you watched the convention, people were speaking on real issues. People were speaking on issues that matter to us. And I'm clapping. I'm thinking, finally, they're making sense, and we can understand what they're saying. You know what? God bless all the other countries. I know what's going on, but let's focus on us. And I think I know I've been talking a lot, but I think for the South Coast and my role, I could put it in very few words. Let's put our needs first, and let's not worry so much about the environment. And I say that respectively. We have to be responsible, but we need to live here. If we can't live here, we can't afford to live here. Then then what does it all mean? Let's stop putting our needs first. I know there's an immigration issue, and I shouldn't say immigration. There's an illegal migration issue, and my heart and people should be outraged that we're seeing incidents. There was an amendment 698 that basically was voted down by our existing state reps, and that amendment was to put homeless veterans first when it came to homeless shelter, and instead they want to prioritize undocumented illegals that are in this country to provide them with homeless shelter. If that doesn't make you,
I got to ask you about this, because there's a person who I know who works in the DTA, and the person is noticing a lot of Haitian immigrants coming in. I'll give you an example. There was a Haitian family that literally just flew into Logan, stood in Logan overnight, and went right to the DTA office. How do they know that? How do they know to go there and get the benefits? They're given it, and they're given their own social security numbers and all that stuff. How is that happening? or why? I don't know. I don't know.
I can speculate,
Mhm.
and everything I say after that topic, it really is speculation.
Speculation.
I could be wrong. I just came back from Florida with my wife. Went to Logan Airport. We usually take the Braintree bus over to Braintree from Logan. It's an easy process to avoid the traffic, so it makes it nice. So I get on the bus and she goes, "Look," and I go, "What?" It's Terminal E. Remember the show MASH? You know, in the triage, you had all those carts lined up. There was carts that just went on and on and on, and there were illegals. So the answer that I'm giving you to your question is why are they in Massachusetts? Why are they at Logan Airport when we know we don't have anywhere to put them? They're there for maybe a week, 2 weeks, and they keep coming in, and we don't have anywhere to put them. So my speculation is if you're coming over the border, southern border. By the way, someone told me this the other day. We're a bordering state because now when they're coming over the border, speculation says, where do you want to go? You can go to Chicago, you can go to Massachusetts, you can go here, you can go here. Because we're what's the term that they use?
I know.
Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Right. Because we have that title. So as a state rep, I'm going to vote that down because we cannot afford to maintain our own standard of living. How are we able to help support undocumented immigrants? And I think back to my parents, the sacrifices they made. They were vetted. They had the vaccines. They had all the processes. Now we're bringing people in from another country. We don't know who they are. We don't know if they were in jail. We don't know if they have committed any crimes, violent crimes. We don't know if they're healthy. We don't know if they have disease. They come in, they're processed. To your point, are they given a social security number? I don't know, but they're able to get on a plane and they're able to fly into Boston.
How?
So, and that's your question is disturbing.
Yeah.
You're right. How is this? How are we doing this? And why are we doing it? Okay. So now I'm an immigrant. I'm coming in from South America. I'm processed. I'm asked, what state do you want to go to? And I say Boston. I want to go to Massachusetts. Am I put on a plane? Am I given, my ID card?
Where there's a gap there that's not being explained. If I want to go to a certain country, I need a passport, and I have my passport. I can't go.
Yeah, you can't get.
So how are they able to come here without no information? And then you get here, and we give you information to identify you when we don't know who you are at all. That does not make any sense.
That's scary for me.
And we're giving you benefits. And we're giving you a resource to live.
So you are spot on. We're giving them benefits. We're giving them, I believe it's $64 a day per person. So if you're a family of 4 or 5, you're getting $200 to $300 a day. I don't need $300 a day. I need $64.
That's crazy.
So, and then you're getting shelter. You're getting communication, cell phone. You're getting clothing, right? And the food and the food that they're getting, there are places in the Boston or the outskirts that they're getting catered services. In other words, they're getting food that's catered, and the state's paying tens of thousands of dollars. They're opening up these contracts for 3 months, 6 months, and people are coming from different countries, so they're used to eating certain foods. And this is the stuff that I research and I read and I get an understanding for. They don't eat American food. So now we have to prepare the food in the way that they eat in their country. So let's take us. If you brought my grandmother from Cabo Verde and she's used to eating couscous and she's used to eating arroz and it's very hard to switch over to Big Mac. And I get that. So my heart goes out to them because these are still people. I get it, and they have children. I'm not saying I'm not saying I dislike.
They make you out to be like a bad person if you're against it.
Exactly.
We've had this conversation. We spoke about immigration before. We hit on social topics over here, and the United States brings in roughly 1 million legal immigrants a year. Like, to me, it's like, where is the conversation? Like, how can we make that 2 million legally? Get them checked out, vetted, stuff like that. So there's never that conversation how we can make our country more people, but the right way.
You hit it right on the nose. And guess what? Everything you just said, if you did it the right way, you're going to have people who are going to want to invest themselves in this country rather than people that want to feel entitled.
Entitled, yes.
You're going to have people that are going to go to school. They're going to appreciate being here. They're going to be working. They're going to be having a desire to improve, but give back to some
Right.
degree. And for the police officers and the law enforcement and the firefighters and our hospitals, we now vet them right at the early stages so we don't have an influx of people. I mean, our hospitals, our emergency rooms are just full. Mass General, all of
Yeah.
them, they're full. Someone I just spoke to last week is in need of back surgery, and her insurance company denied it. And in that conversation, she goes, Joe, but if it was illegal, they'd have that back surgery already. This is what's going on in the country.
Yeah.
And it's sad. But to your point, if you did it right, we are a land of immigrants. I mean, that's the beauty about being in this country. We're Cape Verdean, we're Portuguese, we have so many different nationalities. But when you come in the right way, you assimilate and you appreciate and you work. When you look at some of these images and some of the people, it's scary to me. I God bless our police officers who put on a uniform every single day and go out and do their job effectively and come home safe. That's the goal, to come home safe. To pull over somebody who's not supposed to be driving, may not have a license, and then you don't know what they're capable of because they have really nothing to lose.
Right.
That's the attitude that's out there. And you may be dealing with someone who's a murderer in Venezuela and you don't know. And their moral compass is so
Totally
far
different.
it's totally different.
I know what I noticed too. It's like I work for UPS, right? And I'm on the road and I notice how people are driving. All right. And I've been to all different types of countries.
Yep.
And the driving rules are totally different from here. And I'm noticing who's driving and how they're driving. And I'm having an understanding.
Okay.
Y'all driving like you was in that country.
Interesting.
You see, it's on a minute. It's not really that big of a deal. But yet you're not catering. You're not catering. You're not adjusting to American rules, societies, and cultures. We, as in the country, are trying to be sympathetic and adjusting to them. And I think that it deals with the system of this whole, like, I feel like, because I was always against this. I think people are too hard on the immigration thing. But now when I'm hearing stories like how these Haitians are given security, Social Security numbers. Like, all right, why is this happening? How is this happening? And I'm noticing the little change in society when these people are coming in and they're literally on their own rules. You're like, you're not in your country anymore. You need to adjust to us.
They don't get deported neither. So if a cop pulls them over, they can't. I don't think they can send them to immigration or.
To your point, I've heard that committing a crime, they don't stay in jail and they somehow get back on the streets. I don't understand why or how that happens. And then to your point, you answered the question. I know there's something going on with the way people drive today. I'm thinking, okay, people just don't care anymore. Or I don't even, or maybe they're too distracted on their phones. But you answer the question.
You go in another country, there's no rules.
And you're probably right. There's probably a certain percentage of people on the roads that are accustomed to driving somewhere else. And you see it. They're driving. They're passing you on the right.
Yeah.
They're in the
bobbing, weaving.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
And my thought, and as a parent, I have 3 young drivers in my household. My daughters are driving. My son is experienced. He's a little bit older, but my daughters are still inexperienced. And when something like that happens, when you're bobbing and weaving, they don't have enough training, enough experience to be able to react if something were to go wrong. And that's what's happening. And I worry about some of these crazy drivers. And when I see it, I almost wish I had like a quick way to, or you pray.
Yeah.
Where's the state police now?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the state police do a good job. They're out there.
Yeah.
But it's always when something stupid happens.
And you
like,
really need them. They're not there. Yeah.
Come on.
But probably so much going on. That's why they're not there. But this is just a recent, what I observed. Well, I'm like, wait a minute. And because when I was in different countries, there's no rules. There's literally people just cutting people off if they're on scooters or motorbikes or cars. I'm like, and I've been to these countries, and then when I come here and I'm like, yo, these people are not even following the rules of the road.
I would, to your point, I would love to ask a question to a state official in the law enforcement. How many undocumented or unlicensed people do you stop?
Yeah.
On a yearly basis. I bet you that number is astronomical.
Yeah,
I bet it is.
because the way they drive, and they don't even think they're doing anything wrong. That's the
That's the thing though. Like when someone,
crazy, yo.
Right. Yeah. You go back. What are you doing? You beep the horn and they're flipping you off.
But even like
I don't-
you just heard a car go by with the music blasting loud.
Yeah.
I'm like, where you getting that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you think that's okay? It gets to a point where, come on, bro. Like, we are living in this country together. Like, and y'all just taking it for granted. And it's that sense of entitlement because we're not holding them accountable.
are they taking a driving class, a driving lesson? Like my kids, right? We got to go through the whole
Oh, yeah.
driving
You
process.
have to pay.
You have to
do
pay.
Do they?
They should. If anybody, they should.
Yeah. So my daughter just went through that, and it's interesting. Now the parent has to go and sit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. My youngest daughter, I had to sit there and I had to listen, and I had to go through the training, and they're asking some really difficult questions. If you see your daughter, if you know your daughter's going to a party, and you should be asking questions, and so they're basically trying to get the parents involved.
Yeah.
And in that early start
Yeah,
of driving.
Yes.
Just to. So I had to go to the same. Yeah. I don't know how many hours it was, but yeah.
So, how are you doing it like in your campaign? Because I feel like the person that you're running against, he's been there for like 30 years. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, no. Excellent question. So part of me running is that the person who's there for 32 years this year decided not to run.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. So
Okay.
Bill Strauss, which I hear really good things about him. He's done a lot for our community. He decided to step down, and that to me is a good. It's good for me as a new person to go into this type of role because I don't have an incumbent. So it's basically an open seat. So I ended up filling out my nomination papers. I'm a candidate. I'm on the ballot. What I have to do now is campaign and get my name out as much as I possibly can, speak in front of people, just get the exposure. I have to primary a gentleman by the name of Bob McConnell. He's an RTC chairman, and he lives in Fairhaven. So God willing, if I win the primary in September 3rd, then I go to the general election, which is November 5th, and I will be going against a gentleman by the name of Mark Sylvia, who is a town moderator for Fairhaven. Nice guy as well, well known. I believe my platform is uniquely different from all of them. I'm a people first. I'm a caring person. I listen. I fight. My general election opponent. I think he's more of a progressive Democrat. He's someone who wants to go completely renewable energy. He wants you to drive an electric car, and he doesn't want to use oil or fuel. And you can look at his brochure and the information that he's passing out, and everything that I've learned. That's not practical. It's not cost effective. So we can have a healthy conversation or a debate.
Yeah.
And I have numbers and facts, and I'm sure he does too. But that's where the voter is going to have to look at and say, okay, here are your two choices. Do I want climate change effectiveness and action items and direction, or do I want standard of living, quality of life, and to be able to afford to pay my bills? I think that's where it's coming down to. To me, that's not a hard decision.
And that's what makes the job difficult, because you want to salvage the place that we live, but at the sad time, you want people to live. So it's that balance, and it's hard for a job like a representative or even going higher up into the political realm to make these decisions. And people need to understand it's hard for these decisions to make because they're both right, but at the same time, we're talking about people's quality of living.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose. Balance. The key word is balance and compromise.
Mm-hmm.
I really think we need to look at environmental issues. It is a concern, but it shouldn't outweigh many other concerns this community has. And it goes for everything that we talked about today. We didn't really talk about the seniors. Our seniors are having a very difficult time making ends meet. I speak to them quite often, and I get statements. I don't do the things I used to do because I'm afraid that I won't be able to make ends meet. And these are seniors that are living with their homes paid for, but they can't make their tax payment, or they can't make the insurance payment, or they can't buy basic food. And it's getting harder and harder. We haven't had a reprieve. It's just going up, up.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, fixed incomes, it's not keeping up. And eventually, the only thing you can do is either eat less or keep that temperature down to a very uncomfortable temperature, or use a less electricity, not have the AC on all the time. And I'm just using these examples, but when you said quality of life, I mean, we're not asking for much.
Mm-hmm.
We're asking for 3 meals. We're asking for maybe go out to dinner once in a while, maybe go watch a movie. I mean, we have
Just
to live our life.
Yeah.
We have to have
Not
something.
to just exist. Yeah. It's I don't know how we got here. Everybody has their different opinions and speculations. But I'm just talking to you, the energy that y'all putting off, I believe that you are most likely the right person for this position. Like that, like I believe in your morals. It's I don't feel like it's fake. It's not, you're not trying to say something.
Genuine.
It's very genuine. And I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Politicians that become career politicians, I think they lose sight of that. You know, because like you said earlier, you're supposed to represent the people. You're a representative of people. You're not representing yourself. And politicians, they start getting that mindset of, I have to win this seat for me. I have to keep this seat. No, you don't. You have to win this seat to continue representing the people, so they have a voice.
Yes.
So
and I appreciate that, and to extend what you just said. I'm also a constituent. We need to hold our elected officials accountable. We really need to call them, and when things aren't going right, or they vote, or they're expressing themselves and it doesn't sound right, we need to hold them accountable, because we need to remind them that, you know, your term is 2 years or your term is 3 years, and if you're not listening to us, if you're not acting in our behalf, well, we're going to make a note. And we won't be supporting you.
Yeah.
When your term is over.
Yeah.
So that, you know, and I hate to do that, or hate to say that, we would hope that our elected officials are naturally going to put us first. And to your point, sometimes that mindset, or that initial goal tends to drift. For whatever reason. I'll probably find out if I get elected. But I promise that's one of my core values is to stay. Adhere to being an advocate, being a voice for us. And I feel as though I'm living it, because I have children. I live in the community. I see what my employees are going through, our team members.
You see in all ends.
I see in all ends.
And that's a good point.
Yeah, there's so many things that are just not going right. And healthcare is another one.
Healthcare.
Yeah, healthcare is another one. I mean, the amount of money we're paying for healthcare. What's going on? Well, I can tell you why. Look, we talked about the illegals. The illegals are getting free health care. Well,
why aren't we?
I get penalized.
Why aren't we?
If I drop my health care, if I drop it, I'll get penalized when I do my taxes.
Right.
And I'm actually having a conversation with myself. Do I want to drop my health care? Because, I mean, I don't really use it. And I pay a lot of money a month just for me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like taking out an insurance policy. If you know, God forbid, if any, you know, someone said this to me the other day, and it was so powerful. Your average person is one sickness, one job away from going bankrupt, losing their house. That's it. One sickness, and there's no, people don't have that cushion or that buffer like they used to. You know, you listen to what was it, Dave Ramsey? He's the financial expert.
Yep.
You know, have your emergency fund, and then have, you know, X amount of dollars there, and that sounds great.
Right. How about, where is that coming from?
Yes. Yeah. It's so basic, right? We should have an emergency fund. Yeah. We should have X amount of savings, but it's gotten so bad that your average family, they're pulling out of their 401k in order to make ends meet. They're not going on vacation. No, they're paying their bills with what they're supposed to be saving for their
retirement to live.
This is a doom loop. And people are going to be coming into their 50s and 60s, and they're not going to have the nest egg to carry them through their 70s and 80s. And they're going to be more dependent on our government and our state. And yet right now, and I hope people don't look at me as, oh, he's against the illegals. I'm not. My parents are immigrated here. I have many friends who immigrated here. I was fortunate to be born here, the first one, but I've seen what coming over correctly does to society. It makes you want to be a valuable part of society. You have so much to offer. You have a work ethic. What's going on now, it's very dangerous, because we're bringing people in here, your word, they feel entitled. They're made to feel entitled. My goodness, if I'm getting a check, if I'm getting paid, if I'm getting free sneakers, if I'm getting
right off the bat,
what's going to incentivize me
to go to work? Yeah.
I mean, look, right? Do I stay home and eat pizza and watch TV all day?
Yeah.
Or do I?
And this is where, like, I feel when it comes to politicians, career politicians, because it got to this point where a lot of people have been in that particular office for a long period of time, which you're not paying attention to our systems. I think that our immigration system needs to be rampantly changed. I think our political system needs to, I think our school system, I think our court system, all our systems needs to be changed. And one of those big changes need to be is all those people have been in those positions of positions where they were making decisions need to be out.
Right.
That's how you change the system.
Term limits. You're absolutely
you
right.
need term limits. Yeah. You shouldn't be a career politician because
people become lazy and complacent.
Yes,
and they just show up.
It's a check
because you're human.
Right.
We're flawed. Right. And I say this on my show all the time. I said we are flawed human beings, and we need rules. There's certain things that need to be set in place to hold us accountable, to protect us from our own flaws. If we're not doing that, and we're putting people in positions where they're so comfortable that I'm not gonna never lose my position. There's things that I know that's going on in the state that literally, like, I could tell you, people in Boston in high positions, you ain't doing your freaking job, dog. Yeah. You just see how I don't want to put the person I know out there like that. That's why I'm not saying it. But there's a lot in high positions. You're not doing your job because you're comfortable. You're not. There's things that just going in your building that you do not know is going in your building because you're not there. Because what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know,
these career politicians, like, you know, they have such a war chest, money, followers. You know,
there you go. Yeah,
they get voted in.
Interesting you say this, and I won't use names. I said something yesterday, and I know it's going to get me in trouble. But when I look at my opponent, I look at, okay, well, where is his donors coming from? They happen to be in environmental and renewable energy.
Yeah,
and I says, okay, well, that's kind of
conflict of interest.
Yeah, you can't do it. That's the political part of the political skills need to be changed.
And I'm saying to myself, okay, he's getting thousands of dollars from individuals, and he's able to raise funds. When people are investing in you that way, they're investing in you for other reasons, ulterior motives, because they want to secure whatever it is,
right? Down the road,
that you know,
that you may have an influence on.
Exactly. And I'm not, that's an accusation. I'm not saying that. Well, sometimes it's
perception is reality, yo. Like, you won't say it, but I'll say it. That's what's going on. That's going on. Perception is reality.
And I want to come back and say, why not have the people we represent? My donors are all here. They're
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
$50, they're $100,
Yep.
$500, but they're people that live in our community that are like us that want to affect change in
Mhm.
some way, and they want someone going into the ring knowing that they're fighting for you.
Yeah.
And there's no other drive. And unfortunately, that's what I'm seeing. And I think that's going to come out as we
Mhm.
get closer to election. God willing, if I make it past this is September 3rd, I need to win the primary in order to compete
Mhm.
in the general.
I believe like no major corporation should be able to donate to any
Yeah, so
none.
you talk
None.
about like the grand scale, like the presidents, the
All the way
NRA, Big Pharma, all these big
all the way up.
corporations. It's
Yep.
just,
all the way up.
funnel money to people.
Eliminate that money,
Yeah.
and then you see what the real person's morals are.
Yeah.
Right, I agree.
You know, that's why I went back to like the money,
Yep.
because money can influence you a lot. You know, where now if you don't have the money, you're gonna have to go to the people that's giving you 50. But those are the people you're supposed to be speaking of.
Absolutely.
But,
And,
you know,
and it takes work.
It takes work.
It takes time.
Do you really want to do this?
Right.
Oh, I don't think you really want to do this, so you're not right for the job. But you do it if you're getting $1 million from this one corporation.
And if you have morals and you have values,
Mhm.
when someone's giving you a hardworking man is giving you $50, $100, and he says,
Mhm.
"Look, I need you to help me, lower the cost of this, lower the cost of that."
Mhm.
If you have morals and values, you're going to feel obligated to
Mhm.
that person. You're going to say, you know what? I remember speaking to Mr. Jones. He wants to put his kids through school, and our state colleges are just going through the roof. And what am I supposed to be doing?
Mhm.
Yeah, you're going to remember that conversation. Instead of your allegiance should not be to these corporations or people that work for these corporations.
Yeah.
And our allegiance need to be to the people here.
And that's another system need to be fixed. It's the capitalist system.
Yeah.
Is this all our systems in our country? I feel like needs to be revamped because we live in a totally different society when you was 18. When those morals, those values is gone. So we need to adjust. We can't live by the same morals and values. I mean, same rules back then because people are not abiding by them anymore. And that's the human flaw. So now we got to set up barriers to protect us from ourselves. So
I agree.
I want to thank you for coming up. Where can they donate to you?
I appreciate that. Please look at my website, learn more about me. I'll be adding things week to week, but it's electjoepires.com, electjoepires.com. There, if you could be so kind and donate $10, $20, $30. And please know every dollar that I bring in, it goes to exposing who I am, putting my name out there, getting on great shows like this, working with the media, because the more exposure, just like signs, I ordered 100 signs. I'll give you a fee, 100 signs, and I got the cheapest signs because the quality is good, by the way. But I did my research. I got 100 signs for $700. $700 is $700.
Oh yeah. Like you do $700.
And then my campaign manager goes, "Well, I think you're going to need a couple more hundred." I'm like, "Okay, here we go." But that's where that money is going, so we can get signs up, big ones, small ones. And by the way, I'm going to have a page on my website, the 10th Bristol District, just so you know, and I appreciate the extra time here.
Yeah.
Rochester, Marion, Mattapoisett, all of Fairhaven, a good portion of Acushnet in the north end of New Bedford. So that's the 10th Bristol District.
Okay.
So if you are in that area, please, if you support me or want to support me, just I'm gonna have a page on my website. Just enter your address. You don't even have to enter your name, and I guarantee you, within 24 to 48 hours, we'll have a sign on your lawn. So, and I'll tell you. Old school, the signs work. They're very effective.
I'll take one.
Well, I appreciate.
I'm in
Acushnet. I also have T-shirts. Before I leave, I want your size.
Awesome.
I did the Mattapoisett Harbor Days. So I have a vehicle there still with a bunch of shirts and everything else. But I'd love to get shirts. Yeah.
That'd be terrific.
Yeah, I
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
it actually look like.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the-
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I want to thank. I mean, like again, it's the energy for me.
Appreciate it.
I really feel like you are genuine. I'm definitely going to support. So when is the primary?
Primary is September 3rd.
September 3rd.
Coming up quick. We're talking, 6 weeks roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it'll be November 5th. And I want to say thank you to all of you,
Mhm.
because, awareness,
Yes.
Yeah.
creating awareness. And up until now, even on the school board, I feel not because nobody's at fault. We get so busy in our day to day, we don't know what we don't know. And I believe 60 to 80% of the people don't know or don't have a pulse of what's happening. And it
Yeah.
shows like this that helps funnel that information in. You got to push it out
Yeah.
so that you can catch and understand. And it takes time. But
Mhm.
just a little bit of information here and there helps us make better decisions.
Mhm.
That's what it is. We're making better decisions on who we vote for
Mhm.
based on maybe this conversation, or you may not live in our community, but you will maybe take something out of the show that in your district you're going to say, okay, let me get a closer look at
Yes.
who's running for the next state representative,
Mhm.
and get your voice out there by voting
Mhm.
and making a difference. And I always say this: talk to your friends, family, and say, hey, that Joe Smith is a great guy, and he's in Providence or whatever. This is why you should vote for him. And
Mhm.
that's what ends up happening when you can bring 5 or 6 other people to the voting booth.
Right.
Mhm.
That's when you start making a difference. So
All
thank
right.
you for what
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank
Joe,
you.
good luck.
Excellent.
All right, we're gonna take a 2-minute break, and we'll be right back. I want to thank Joe Pires for coming in and blessing us with your campaign and your presence and your ideas. And good luck in the future for the primary and into the election, because I think you're gonna get through the
I
primary.
appreciate
Yes.
it. Appreciate it. And I'd love to come back.
Yes, definitely. Yes, I will come
Maybe
back.
after I win the primary, I'll
Yeah,
get up.
yo,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. So we'll be right back after this. We'll take like a 2-minute break, and then me and Derek, we're gonna hash out these little topics that we have that's gone on for last 2 weeks. So we'll be right back after this. You're listening to the Frequency Live on WMB1 Radio. I'm your host B Carter, and we're here with Double D. We're right back. Yes, we are back. We are back. We are back. Y'all listen to the Frequency Live on WMB1 Radio. I want to thank again our special guest candidate for the 10th Bristol District, Joe Pires. Great interview, D.
I thought it was good.
like
Genuine.
genuine. I don't know. Like he's not in my district, so I would vote for him. Like
Yeah.
It's just you just felt the vibe, the positive vibe. That I want to
Yeah, he makes sense. Like what he says is just making sense, you know.
Yeah,
So good stuff. Glad
Yeah.
he came on.
yeah. Go vote. Anyone in that district in the 10th district, Bristol district. I'm endorsing him. I don't know how much my endorsement is, but I'm endorsing him. This is the type of person we need in office. Trust and believe. A new face too. So, all right, let's continue the show. And this is a politically driven show because a lot has gone on.
The last 2 weeks were crazy.
Let's get into this Trump assassination attempt.
Attempt.
Don't forget the word attempt. What's your take on it, G? Like,
I mean, I think it's obviously crazy. You never want to see any president, no matter who you're supporting, right? You never want to see an assassination on a president. I mean, you never want to see it on anyone, but
Yeah.
I mean, the president of the United States, that was kind of sad. Fortunately, he was okay. He just got nicked. But like to me, like the disturbing thing to me is like the Secret Service, and how the rooftop was not manned. How they knew prior to Trump going on the stage that there was an issue with someone with a gun, and they still let Trump go on the stage. So like to me, I'm like scratching my head with the Secret Service, and I know they do one hell of a job of like they jump on people and they'll take a bullet for you. I get all that, but just the fact that some of the things that happened was making me scratch my head, and we still don't have any answers for that. But
yeah, I totally agree. As much as I'm not a supporter of Trump, I don't wish this on him. I don't wish this on anyone.
Well, I think that's what Joe was like. He mentioned too. It's like I think it did a little bit like bring people together a little bit because no one wants to see someone get shot, like assassin. You know what I mean? So even if you don't like Trump,
Yeah,
I think there was.
I don't want this for him.
A little unity.
But that's the beef I have with him is the fact that you have to take a little bit of accountability of this environment. You got caught up in the environment that you created. When I think you felt like he was untouchable. When you're like, I'll bring it to a lower level. If you're on the street, normal person, and you're talking shit, and just talking shit, and talking shit, eventually, somebody's gonna get you. Now, if you're talking truth, if you're talking details of policies and how you're gonna think, I don't feel like this happens. When you start digging at people, you got to think about the environment that was in, and Democratic people have been victim to this environment. Where you had Pelosi's husband get attacked, you have senators got attacked, a lot, and so Trump, you're just part of this political. I feel like he's not totally at fault completely, but I feel like it's an environment that he helped created that now he was a victim of, and it probably calmed him down for a little bit. Good. Now just speak on policy instead of trying to like crazy Joe. Like stop it, man. Stop creating that type of mentality. Be a leader.
So listen, he definitely could tone that down. Okay, I don't like him listening to him like rambling and crazy Joe and that kind of stuff, but that doesn't make someone shoot you. Like JF, I'm not complaining. I'm not comparing JFK with Trump or Republican, Democrat. What I'm saying is JFK wasn't rambling about people and he got assassinated.
No, JFK got shot because of his policies. That's why you can't compare. JFK didn't want to go to Vietnam. JFK was for civil rights. JFK was a lot of things that JFK was the beginning of what America is today.
Yeah, but my point is I don't see Trump causing some 20-year-old kid to shoot him.
Think about it. He's a 20-year-old kid. His mind is not even fully developed. That's why when you're in a place of position, you got to be responsible of how you speak. And I'm not saying everything's his fault, but at the same time, you contributed to this environment that you were now victim of.
Yeah, I mean, I give you.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
give you
It's
that,
not
but-
totally his fault.
Yeah.
But I feel bad that you had to go through it. But it's almost like if you're in the streets, and you're talking all this drunks, and the streets try to get you, well, you was in the streets.
Yeah. I mean, I see that a little bit. I see that.
You know-
I mean, like, I'm still disturbed by like the Secret Service.
Yes.
And like,
Yes.
they knew about this kid 15 minutes prior. No one was covering that rooftop. I mean, there's some.
Yes.
I'm hearing the head of the Secret Service is stepping down tomorrow.
I think they got comfortable. Do you feel like it was purposely done? Is that
No,
what you're saying?
no, I'm not going there. I'm not a conspiracy theorist like that.
Yeah.
However, no one was on the roof.
You
Like,
have to think that way.
It makes you.
You
think,
have
like,
to.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know,
You can't put it.
And no one's answering these questions. We're getting no answers on all this stuff that.
You're never gonna get answers for these questions. It's called a Secret Service for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
I get what you're
the president's life was. You know,
I totally get it. I'm sure Trump getting answers. You know,
right.
You know, it's because he better be requiring answers.
So I mean, you say like, you know, Trump got comfortable, whatever. Okay, fine. He's in the middle of a field and he's talking, whatever. He might have got comfortable because like he figures he has a Secret Service on him. You know, an example, say a celebrity, whatever. Maybe it's Mike Tyson. Okay, he could be comfortable out there because his
ain't nobody gonna fuck with him.
He got a body. He got all his bodyguards.
Yeah.
So he's comfortable. Trump was probably comfortable. He
And he can't get God.
Right.
But now y'all in a realm where y'all really affecting people's lives. So this name calling, all this other stuff, you think that you could constantly name call people and keep on digging them and this and that you think that you can't get God. It goes, again, we are humans. We are flawed. And if you don't think you're not creating an environment that will cause this by your words. You are both. It goes, you are the president of the United States. You are a person that a lot of people follow. You have a lot of influence. With that influence comes responsibility. He's being irresponsible, and he was a victim of the environment that his irresponsibility helped, not did, but helped build.
He definitely, you know, contributed to that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I give you that.
And I don't wish that on him. I'm because beyond, thank God that he didn't get shot.
Yeah.
Because
who knows?
Oh, it might have been a civil war.
Who knows what would have happened? If
Thank God it didn't. I don't want I want him, and this is just like I want him defeated, but I don't want him defeated physically.
Not that way.
I don't want that. Not at all.
Can you imagine like all the crazy like Trump people?
Yeah.
If he would have got assassinated, like people would have been like, "Yo,
yeah,
inside job." Like, you know what I mean? So thank God that.
Yeah, and the Trump people, they're not all there.
Yeah.
Not all Trump people, but I'm saying like there's a lot of not all there Trump
people,
people,
some of the
man.
black people are not all there.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Well, I got a question for both of you. Do you think he's got the attitude that he's untouchable?
Yes, because if you hear the story of the January 6th, he wanted to go march down there with them. The Secret Service wouldn't let him, and his response is, "They won't do nothing to me. They love me." And Secret says, "Yo, you can't go down there and march with these people." He really thought that he's untouchable.
No, so I think I don't know that I agree with that 100%. Like when we say like untouchable, I think he thinks that he can walk down there with all those people.
But you that's untouchable. Think about the position that he's in. You were the president of the United States.
But I just think he thinks he's like one of them, one of a common man. I think his mind, he thinks he's a common man, not like some big politician.
No, you may think that. I think he thinks he's the Pied Piper.
Wow. I mean,
because if he says jump, they jump. That's why his attitude. Just look out, stand back and stand by. Just the way you're talking. Really pay attention to how he talks. Stand back, stand by. You know what I'm saying? You follow me. You're the Pied Piper. Oh, I like even when it comes to relationships. If I tell Putin not to do it, they're not gonna do. Like he really thinks that he's all that. You just listen to how he's talking. It doesn't work like that, bro. It don't. And like I'm not calling you bro, but I'm calling Trump.
Yeah, I mean,
and like
he said he talked to Zelensky and he's going to end the war when he gets elected. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. What do we got next?
The RNC.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it.
So let me tell you something. Okay, I watched the whole thing. No, okay. I didn't-
The whole thing, that speech was
No,
long.
I couldn't. I wasn't. I watched a fair amount of it, but I wanted to tell you that every time I watch it on CNN just for you. Okay. I watched it on CNN, and I got their like take on it. Okay.
And how do you think, as far as their production is, how
Well, the RNC's the RNC's.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You know, I mean, you know what? It's that they do have some Republicans on
Yeah.
a little bit. Okay.
And not just one. When you see Fox News, they'll have one Democrat.
Well,
where CNN, they'll have multiple Democrats, and they'll go back and forth.
Yeah, they went back and forth. Yeah,
they'll go, and that's a healthy debate where they'll, you know what I'm saying?
I did enjoy it a little bit, but I think like the majority of them, like just like negative, whatever. And I get it, like they're both sides. It's just negative.
Yeah,
like who he picks for a VP, negative. Trump says this, negative. It's like what. Sometimes it's nauseating, like listen to these people over and over and over again. But I did want to listen to them to kind of get their side or whatever. There was some good speakers. I didn't like see everyone, but I mean, I kind of could have done without like Hulk Hogan. Like I mean, there was some things that I'm like.
That's what makes Donald Trump a marketing genius.
Because
he knows he's doing it on purpose. Yeah. It's like he's not gonna give you meat, but he's gonna give you all this flavorful fat that you enjoy. And then at the end of it, if you're those people, I had a good time.
Hey, I gotta say,
we did have a good time.
Did you watch Hulk Hogan?
No,
I did. He one of the major speakers.
No,
he came right before Trump.
No, I didn't even watch it. I didn't watch it.
Hey, when he was ripping his shirt off, he had to like hold. He lost some strength because he struggled. He didn't cut it enough. Yeah. He didn't cut it enough. He had to like re-grip and like pull it apart. But it was good. Don't get me wrong. But
it was entertaining.
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Shit.
But that's what it was. Trump is an entertainer. I think that a lot of people is falling for that entertainment aspect. He's entertaining. He's very entertaining. But I want to hear policies. I want you to go into detail how you're going to do that. If somebody asks you a question, how are you going to save money? Can you explain that to me?
Well, so that I will say, like, most of the time he doesn't say in detail. He just says like, believe me.
Yeah.
Be the best.
That's Pied Piper talk. He thinks he's the Pied Piper.
Yeah, like we're gonna stop the war. Believe me, I want to make it happen, my friend.
Yeah.
He doesn't say how he's gonna.
How he's gonna do it?
Listen,
that's why I don't believe in him.
Yeah,
he's just talking his junk. He's talking like a pimp. He's talking like a mob boss. It's like, but you're not saying nothing, but you're saying something to somebody.
So I actually, when he spoke. Okay, he was the last person to speak, whatever. I think he spoke for like 90 minutes. I ended up going to bed.
Oh, it was long.
Because, dude, this dude was like going on and on and on. I'm like, dude, I got to go to bed. It was like 11:20 or something. And so I don't like to listen to him when it's very like repetitive and it's like just like not mumbling, but just dude, just stick to the script.
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah.
I think they said he had like 30 minutes or 40 minutes of non-scripted going on.
Yeah.
So, way too much.
Yeah.
So
I actually went to bed and I put on Alexa, please put on CNN. So I can. He's like, yo, he's still talking.
Yeah.
He's still talking. In the first half, he was all about unity.
Yeah.
But then Trump became Trump.
Yeah.
He switched it up. And
he can't do it. He has a hard time. Like since he came on the scene in like 2016, but when he has a hard time
because he can't go into
Trump.
Because he can't go into detail of telling people how he's going to do it. So he results to that entertainment aspect. Crazy Joe, like that shock value but you cannot speak hour and a half and he never went into detail how he's going to, what's your plan? He just says it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Like that's all you're saying. Give me details.
You ain't saying nothing.
But if you cannot give me details, as long as you've been in this position, you don't know what you're doing, bro.
Well, I mean, I think someone knows what he's doing, but he doesn't know how to like get that.
I don't think he knows what he's doing, man. It's just the people around him. What scares me, he had some bright people around him that understand the process and how things work. That was able to like, listen, we can't do this. This time around, he's gonna have a lot of yes men.
I mean, because
a lot of people are not gonna want to work for him that understand how this process works.
I mean, there's plenty of people there's plenty of people he can grab that know policy that can help him get the job done. Just not the
I'm not confident in that, man.
Wow.
Like I'm not and again, you and I we speak on this all the time. It's not a Republican thing or Democrat thing. I'm not voting Republican or Democrat. It's the man. I don't trust the man, and the reason being, I don't trust the man because I don't trust who he'll put around him. That's what I don't trust. Because one man doesn't run the country. That's not how it works. There's too many intricate pots that only one man does. It's the people around you. I don't trust the type of people he has around him. And it tells you a lot of those people that had around them last election are going to jail. And the reason why they're going to jail, regardless if you think it's politically motivated or not, is they still broke laws that they will have to be accountable for. So I don't trust the people. I don't trust you as a person, the people you're gonna have around you, where y'all going into a major office like this. I think that he got saved by COVID, because if COVID didn't happen, where would this country be? Like there's a lot of things that I go into it where I'm like, I wish there was a different Republican candidate, because I would vote Republican.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, there's not. This is what we have right now. But this could lead to the next topic. We do have another candidate for the Democrat side.
So, breaking news: Biden drops out.
Yeah.
What's your take on it, D? I like to get your take first.
Some people were saying he was definitely gonna drop out. I kind of was believing him when he said he was gonna stay. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think the whole thing on the Democratic side is just, excuse me, not laughable, but it's kind of laughable. I mean, for 3.5 years, everyone was saying how awesome he is, and he's fit. And I'm talking like up to like a month ago. You had every Democrat on CNN, Joe Biden himself. I mean, all the politicians saying, "Oh, he's great, he's fit." You should see him in the Oval Office. I mean, he walks, he does all this stuff, pumping him up. Which, okay, that was bullshit. So you're gaslighting the American public for 3 years now. And I get there is when you become 80, right? Some people are gonna drop quicker than others. I get it. So I guess some of that, his cognitive, abilities. So I understand that could probably have dropped off a lot, but I don't think they were honest with the American people, and had they been, if you want to talk about democracy, he should have done this in April or before the Democratic primary, that people elected him to be the next president of the United States, to be the nominee. So you want to talk about democracy? Had he done this 6 months ago, there could have been a process where you could have had some other Democrats lining up to be president, and now it's going to be appointed.
Well, what the Democrats did, they got comfortable where it's kind of the incumbent automatically represents elections, and that's where you made a mistake at. I agree that I don't think he should have been the Democratic choice.
He should have been a
one-term president
because of his age. Yeah, one term
president.
And then when they got after say 2 years of the presidency,
they should have somebody
line up. What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Is Kamala gonna run?
Yeah.
We're gonna put it out there for people to.
You gotta put out enough time to make something.
Debate. Do the debate with the.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And
they didn't choose to do that.
They didn't choose to do that, and that's where the strategy. Whoever run the Democratic side of everything, that's the problem. But they have an opportunity now. And me and Derek had a conversation at the bar, and I wanted to explain what this means to me as far as Joe Biden stepping down. Joe Biden stepping down is an example of democracy, in my opinion. Joe Biden stepping down put America first over his ego and his own self-motivation for himself, in my opinion. I don't he's ready to talk, because I don't think if Donald Trump was in this position, he would have made this decision. That's not his personality.
Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
He didn't make this decision though.
He was
Biden
forced
did not
to.
make so Biden did not make this decision.
But that's what I'm saying. But he didn't have to. Because he like the Democrats, the people in Democrats saying they should have stepped down. Donors were backing away and everything like that. Even Barack Obama said you can't lose, you're not gonna win, bro. You know what I'm saying? But that's democracy. That you're able to tell this person, and these people are close friends to him and everything like that. They could have been just loyal and and ride it and see what happens. But there's people in high positions were telling him, listen, we love you, we this and that. You're not gonna win.
Yeah, but I mean
that's democracy.
But no, the real democracy is voting. He should have done that 6 months ago so people can vote in the primary.
Yes,
agree.
Agree. Yes, I agree. I agree with that.
Mhm.
But then here we are in this position where he's like he thought he could do it.
Okay, fine. So I'll give you that. You know what? Maybe if he thought he could do it, maybe he's dropping off. Right? You can't. You know, doesn't know what's going.
But let me ask you this: Trump is getting indicted for all this stuff, and he got. And y'all talking about you touch a girl on the pussy and you cheat on your wife and all this other stuff. Yo, man, you can't run for freaking president. But Trump says, no, I am. Yeah, even with all that stuff. Most people that he got accused of, other politicians, as soon as you just hear that they cheat on their wife, they drop out because it's a moral decision.
Yeah, but listen. You want to talk about like democracy?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Trump said all this stuff or did all this stuff. There was a democracy because he ran, and he didn't go to some of the debates, but the people voted him to be the nominee over Ramaswamy, over Nikki Haley. So people voted him to be the nominee. He didn't just say, "Yo, I'm going to be the nominee." People voted. That's democracy.
Mm-hmm.
People went out and voted for Trump to be the nominee.
Yeah,
that's how he got here again.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But I'm not. But then you cannot say where Biden made a choice. You know something? I'm not gonna win. I thought I could do it, but I can't do it. I'm gonna put my country first and give my country a shot.
He's putting his party.
Not even putting his party first. He's putting his country first. He's like, I'm not going to win. So if I think this is the best for this country, I need to step down. And people in the Democratic people that Democrats know that this is damn.
So they finally
we're months away from the of the election, and all the Democrats are telling their incumbent, their person who they've been backing, you're not gonna win. We need getting somebody else in here. That's what democracy is about. It's not having fear of the person of how they're gonna respond, because you'd be free to tell you like your opinion. And I'm sure you think this is an easy decision for him? Because he's gonna be because it's easy now. The Republicans saying, "Look at this, he couldn't do it. He's a fool. Look how weak the Democrats are. They came and chose the right leader and everything. They're gonna spin it.
Well, I mean that's the problem that I hate. This spin on each side.
Yeah,
the spin cycles is crazy. Yeah. But
and I just feel like it was a democracy. I think you're right. It should have been done way earlier. But I think people are just used to how things always been, but we're going into times where things are going to be run and be done very differently. And this is just another example.
Yeah, this is like new. This is
new.
This is so. I mean, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be it?
It's going to be Harris.
You think so?
And I'm going to tell you something right now. Donald Trump is not going to debate Kamala Harris because now you have someone who could speak.
Oh, he'll debate her.
No, he won't. I'll put $20 on it. He will not debate her. He will not. Remind you, she's a prosecutor. She could speak. She can go into details of things.
She laughs too.
That's all right. She can laugh all you want. But she could also be a hardcore. She could be a hardcore.
Listen,
you know what I'm saying? Like she could go at him. She could speak. You don't got Joe who's gonna mumble, and like Trump could just not do nothing.
I want to up that. What? I want to up that bet.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Dinner at the Black Whale.
Uh-oh.
That they debate. Okay.
Damn.
Dinner at the Black.
Yeah.
Dinner at the Black Whale. He will not debate Harris.
Hey, I ain't picking sides, but can I go?
What do you think? Edmund?
Go.
Do you think that he will debate Harris?
My thing is now he's got a serious opponent that he has to be able to articulate correctly.
Yeah, he's gonna have to debate.
He's got to look professional. Is he up to the task? I don't know.
He's not gonna do it.
I don't know.
He's because right now, if he does, he has everything to lose.
Yeah, but listen, you
He
just
has
said,
everything to lose.
you just said it 5 minutes ago.
What?
Trump thinks he's like, untouchable. Like
That's why he won't do it.
That's why he's gonna do it. He thinks he can like.
Then why would he debate? Why would he debate in the Republican primary? Because he didn't need to. Right now, after this assassination attempt and Democrats pulling out their nominee last minute, he has nothing to win from it. He has everything to lose. And now you're going in front of a person who literally can speak. That's all she can speak.
I mean, listen, I don't know who you're watching, but I mean, I wouldn't be afraid to debate her.
Well, they have to. They have to.
They
No,
have
you
to.
don't. You don't have to.
You can't.
Yeah, they're gonna.
He has to. For us as voters.
Yeah.
But he don't have to. That's like saying he had to debate in the Republican primary. They had like three different debates.
Yeah, he wasn't. He
was at one,
Oh.
and he was the leading candidate.
Yeah.
So you think that now the position he in after the assassination attempt? And
Well, I think
the
they
Democrats
kinda-
pulling out last minute. He's winning.
Yeah.
He's gonna
Yeah.
win.
Yeah.
But all he can do is kill himself.
So you think it's gonna be Kamala?
I think it's gonna be Kamala, and they're gonna put all out stuff because it starts at this Democratic National Convention. That gotta be a show. It's gotta be a show.
I'm gonna be tuning into that because I mean I get into this a little bit, right?
Yeah.
We talk about it on the show. I'll be watching that. It's gonna be different.
It's gotta be a show. It gotta and you gotta look at how the Republican National Convention is. You gotta get. I'm telling you, you gotta get Mary J. Blige out freaking. It's gotta be a show. You gotta get Michelle Obama up there. It gotta be a show. You gotta pull out all stops. You gotta market it. Don't market it like it's a presidential campaign. Market it is like it's Essen Fest, man. It's like American Music Awards.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a show.
Yeah.
Some I heard like a critic say, and I thought this was a good point. Like a Republican critic said this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good point. They when talking a few weeks ago about like if Biden would stay or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think if Biden stayed, Trump would easily win an election. I feel,
Mhm.
but this person said he made a good point. Like if they bring in someone new, like someone fresh, could kind of like rejuvenate, and make it more difficult for Trump to win. Which I do could see that. So depending on who they bring in, potentially,
The thing is, as long as it's a better choice.
Yeah.
If it's
I don't know. I do hear polling like Kamala can beat Trump, and I also Trump can beat Kamala. I've seen both.
There's polling that can comment, and why? Because she could speak, and so now Kamala's he's gonna have to respond to her clarity. And it's sad to say because I respect Joe Biden.
Have you ever listened to her speak?
Yeah.
I mean, she like one little topic. She'll speak in a circle. You don't even know what she says. Like
Does that remind you of somebody?
Well, but
reminds you of Trump.
Yeah, but you're putting her up like.
But she can speak. I think she can speak in detail. Mind you, she used to be a senator. She can speak more of the process of everything, and then what Trump can.
So listen. So we have like 3 months. When
this is gonna be fun.
When she starts speaking, we'll show
okay.
clips.
All right.
We'll talk about it.
Let's get into this.
All right, wait, one more. There's a comment being made on WMB1 Radio.
Yeah, put it up. Put it up on the main.
Yeah, they'll debate. So when you want to take me to dinner?
Here we go.
No Diddy here, yo. Hold on. 27 million donated in less than 5 hours of Biden's announcement to that campaign.
Yeah.
Right. It's gonna be but here's the thing: they're gonna back her. They're gonna back her, and they're gonna try to force. If Trump is a marketing genius, he's already winning. He has more to lose than the game to debate. The debate is not going to help him whatsoever. Same thing with he's in the same position in the Republican primary because he's already winning.
I'm with Edmund. There's no way that he's not going to debate her. I'm telling you, he's gonna debate. So I hope. I mean, I don't know who. I feel it's going to be a problem if it's not Kamala. Like within the Democratic Party and maybe their voters, I feel if it's not Kamala, it could be a problem. if they bypass her,
No, they better not bypass.
They can't.
they can't.
No.
They can't.
Well, they can.
They can, but
they better
it
not.
wouldn't be in their best interest.
Now let
if
me
they
ask
do.
you this. Let's go more deep into this. Who do you think should be her VP?
Mm.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be Gavin Newsom. I'm just thinking of the people that they show on.
Me, and this is the person who I wanted to vote for president, is Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Oh, please, dude.
I want Pete Buttigieg.
Stop it.
Why not? Why not Mayor Pete?
Mayor Pete.
Why not? Why not Pete Buttigieg?
I don't see it at all.
I would love to see that debate against JD
Vance.
and Pete. It's two way opposite sides, bro. Ooh,
yeah, I mean, I can't.
That'll be a show.
Yeah, because I think the mayor is way off to the side.
No, he's not. It's funny. JD was a military vet, right?
Yeah.
So is Pete.
Let him
right?
debate.
All right. But JD he's very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Very traditional, very misogynistic, if you want to.
Why you say that? Like,
because he's all about women and that's where they belong and everything like that. Where now you got Mayor Pete, he's gay, he's homosexual, and so is on a totally separate, opposite spectrums, different ideologies and everything like that.
I
that's clashing.
I disagree that like that's a problem.
What?
Like,
no, it's not a problem.
He's gay, so I don't think that a Republican or whatever looks at that in a negative way. Like, I think people are
I don't think a Republican. Now, remind you, we spoke about this earlier too. You got MAGA Republicans and you got Republicans. There's a difference. I love my Republicans. The MAGA Republicans, you're the one that just separating this country.
Yeah, but so I can say the same thing for the Democrats. So there's
there's
Democrats
like that.
people in the middle,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's always like the extremes on both sides.
And the extremes are fucking
fair
up this country. Yeah,
fair enough.
Yes.
That's
fair enough. Yes.
That's how I view it. Listen, I'm a registered independent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I tend to kind of stay in the middle. Listen, I told you this, before.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I've been leaning to the Republican side on the national level.
Yeah.
Okay. On a local level here, do I vote for Democrats? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. But on a national scale, I tend to be leaning Republican lately. I'm an independent. That could change if the candidate.
I'm the same way.
What have you?
I'm an independent that leans towards the Democrats. I call myself a moderate Democrat. Like I'm more in the middle because I do got conservative values. I do agree with a lot of things the conservatives say. Even with like we were speaking on the immigration, like as more and more I get more educated, I'm like, all right, some of this shit is fucked up. Do I want to close the board and put up a wall completely? No, but I think our system need to be revamped and rechanged to fit what we're dealing with. But that's just the conversation we have all the time.
Yeah.
But I completely understand what the conservatives, what their concerns are. Is like I don't want to go to a MAGA extreme. I would like to go to like John McCain Republican type. You know what I'm saying? Like I respect that where we work together to find a common ground because no decision is gonna be a perfect decision where everybody agrees. It's gonna be different people. There's gonna be some people that are gonna be disappointed. But let's try to get the majority, say, all right, I get it.
Yeah.
So that's where I right off the bat, I just think Pete Buttigieg would be a good VP. That would be a show with them two VPs going debating. That'll be a fun watch too.
Yeah.
I just that DNC convention got to be a show. You got to have it at SoFi in LA.
Breakout. It's got to be a breakout party.
It got to be in Vegas in the Raider Stadium with some of the black.
Yeah, but
it got to be a show.
I mean, I think it's going to be a show because
Yeah.
it's going to be a show, but they need to bring their shit together to make it happen.
Yeah.
I do feel Trump is leading in.
Yeah, you got to get Obama to speak. You got to get Michelle Obama to speak. You got to put everybody else because this right now we're already in the fourth quarter, man. We're like probably in the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth. You don't got much time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what we're talking about like in the window of people, there's a little sliver in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna like decide the election.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
the Trump people are gonna vote for Trump.
Yep.
The never Trump people are gonna vote Democrat. The Democrats gonna vote Democrat. So there's a little sliver, I think, where people are go back.
But just look at how Donald Trump mocking his stuff. He's getting Amber Rose, Dana White, Hulk Hogan. These people don't know in the political realm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But they got a lot of people that follow them that
Like
look up to
Dana
them because
White,
of what the sex they had.
Yeah.
So even though they're not talking policies or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of you have like the Kardashians. You get the Kardashian ain't saying nothing, but there's somebody.
Right.
This is the world we live today. So you got to adjust.
Yeah.
So make it a show.
Well, let's see what they can do.
Yeah.
We have plenty of time to talk about it.
What was the last comment over there? Put that last
Right there.
comment on before we.
That's less common.
Well, no. Her VP will be someone else from a swing state, trained to help to get votes.
Yeah. So I
Strictly for votes on these.
Sure.
Yeah, those swing states she needs to get back because Joe Biden lost a lot of that. Those swings over as polls.
yeah. So by the polls, yeah. So Trump. So just real quick before we wrap up, I didn't really care for Trump's vice president pick. I kind of, I listened to him now. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, but I thought he would have grabbed someone to help with those swing states too, because like he's kind of like a mini Trump with like they have like the same views, which is fine for if that's what he wants. But I figured he would grab someone to kind of help him grab that middle sliver that I'm talking about,
Right?
And that.
But I think he's catering to his base. Like
So
Trump knows what he's
it was
doing
a
when it comes to
confident pick.
marketing.
It was a confident pick, like, yo, I think I got this. I'm gonna get a younger, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That could maybe go in the next 4 years and
Yeah.
run for president.
Yeah,
something
and
like-
keep this base
keep that
together.
base going, right.
Keep the MAGA Republicans together.
But that comment, WMB1 Radio, yeah, for sure. I think she's gonna have to pick someone that could help her with the Wisconsins, with the Michigan, because there's a couple of states that he's losing now.
No. But I think she's capable of doing that. I think that she's been on a leash this whole term with Biden. Now she's off the leash. Let's go and let's see, and it'll be fun. I think it will regenerate this country to really pay attention all the way up to November.
Yeah,
and let's see where it goes, because these last 2 weeks been a very like roller coaster. And what happened to Trump. I'm very happy that he just got nicked in the ear. It wasn't anything serious, for him and the country. But I'm also happy where we have an opportunity to watch the first female black president. Feel opportunity to have a first female black president. Let's see. I hope she's ready for it. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be.
I'm still wondering if they're gonna push her through or pick her.
They got to.
I think they have to too. Like you want to talk black. Like if I feel like
Oh, to be the first female president too.
Yeah, first
you got to separate the two.
And I go back. I think, and I know you don't agree with this. I think we messed up by not voting Hillary Clinton in. But that's just another conversation.
But these are our final thoughts.
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta put it.
Is this the end? I gotta know. Is this the end?
Yes, this is the end of the Frequency Live show of this date in question, which is, what's today's date? The 21st. The 21st of July. This year's going by quick.
It's two.
I want to shout out our other co-host, Jasmine. I hope everything's cool at home. We'll definitely see you next weekend.
Yes.
I want to thank our special guest, Joe Pyers. I was very impressed by him.
Yeah.
Very impressed with him. Go to, he must have it, electjoepyers.com and donate to his campaign. Get involved in that 10th district. I think that this is a right man for him. And guess what? He's a Republican, and I'm endorsing him. So you all think I'm against you Republicans? Are really not. Not.
So when you listen to him, you don't. This is why I think they need to get rid of the
two parties.
When you listen to him, like, oh shit, this all makes sense.
Yeah,
he's a Republican.
I'm not voting for him.
Yeah.
That's where I say that's a system. The political system need to change. There shouldn't be a two-party. Just be a candidate, and that's it. You don't know what he represents. If he's talking to you, then you support him. Some people are just they'll just fall in line with a party,
right? Yeah,
and not even listen to the issues. Where that's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree.
So what? Yeah, anything to add for?
Yes, I appreciate Joe.
Final
I
thoughts?
think it was a great guest. These, we don't always talk politics. Just so happened this week with everything going on, and I know going forward the next few months there's going to be some times that we will, but we got looking forward to next week and topics that we talk about then.
All right. So we'll be back next week, next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank our program director Edmund Ray coming through, my man.
Yo.
My co-host Double D, Derek Demers.
Yo.
Love freaking having these conversations with you, my
Double
guy.
D's always gonna be Double D.
Double D, like he has so much faith. We be sitting down having a couple drinks, and I like D. You have a lot of faith in people. You gotta understand, people are not like morally correct like you.
Yeah, but I have faith. I have faith in Joe. Like I didn't know him before tonight. But when I meet someone, I take him for face value and I try to have faith. That's just until I kind of see otherwise. I kind of give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I know. No, y'all good dude, but not everybody's a good dude like you. That's what I'm saying. So we'll be back next week. I want to thank all our watching and listeners. We appreciate you. Any suggestions for the show, and don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. So I just want you to wish you a good night and a good rest of the week. Take care.